Hello, lovely, and welcome to the Essence of Expression podcast. Get ready to explore insights, lessons, practices, and wisdom from life for life. I'm your host, Arejay, healer, teacher, student, and sage. I'm excited and honored to have you with me on this journey. Let's dive in. So I was in a group and we were kind of contributing to statements around like we can do scary things. And so the prompt was, I know I can do scary things because I have blank, right? And I filled in my blank with I've played in a ring of fire. And so in that group, they wanted to know more. So I'm doing this episode about that. And basically, it was, I started to, whenever I was first learning hoop dance, a couple of the instructors actually were fire performers, so they actually fire hoop. And the woman, there were only two of us in the class at the time, and so the other woman that was taking the class with me was really fascinated by this idea of fire hooping and wanted, like, from like day one, she was like, oh my gosh, my goal is to fire hoop. And because we were regulars and because we attended, we were showing the dedication, we were showing the progress needed, our instructors were like, okay, well, if you really want to do that, we'll take you out to do that, but here's what we need from you. And so they gave us requirements, whatever. And now, mind you, I had no desire to fire hoop. I could give two shits about it at all. I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I just want to play in my hoop as is. And so after a few months of hooping, we had reached the skill level that they needed us to be at to be able to go out and fire hoop, where they'd be willing to take us out to fire hoop. So we went out, because the one woman really wants to do it and I want to see it. I just wasn't necessarily trying to do it. I was like, I'm good with just my nice, cool, safe plastic hoop. Thanks. And so they took us to a beach where, like, the beach allows open flame and everything. So we had gone to the beach that evening and, we went through the fire safety and the fire blanket and the way we spin out, the way we dip our tools, all that stuff. And then after we did that, they did a demonstration and, the other woman, like, got to fire hoop. And so while she got to fire hoop, it was really, like, it looked really amazing. It was really great to see her get to realize that dream. And then when she was done, they were like, okay, your turn. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, your turn. And I was like, I don't know about this. And they were both, both the instructors assured me that, like, no, like, your skill level is at a point where you're fine. Keep the hoop moving and gave me safety tips. And I figured, all right, well, what the hell? Like, I'm already here. We're out here. So may as well give it a try. And I did. And it was interesting, right? First off, fire is a lot louder than you think it is when it is on a ring around your body. And the funny thing is like, I didn't freak out about it. No, I did freak out about it, but I didn't freak out about it while I was doing it. Because there's something in my brain that, like, switches on when, like, potential danger. It gets very, very logical and very methodical, and there is, like, there's no room for the fear. There's no room for anything that might make a misstep and make the situation more dangerous, right? Like, it just switches over, and it's just this very, like, precise and calculated step-by-step mechanism that's happening. So while I was spinning, we're in the sand, so it's safe to drop. Nothing burns or anything like that. And it took a while for me to get comfortable, one, with the heat, two, with the sound of the fire, also with the idea that you're like, this is on fire. Like, I may actually light myself on fire. And then at a certain point, like, it just became a hoop, right? It just became the same thing that I had been playing with day in and day out, that I was very comfortable in that I could move with. Now, granted, this was probably after like one or two of the wicks had already had gone out, so I didn't have as much fire. There were like blank spaces, but after a while, like it just became a hoop. And when it just became a hoop is whenever I found my rhythm with it, and it's whenever I became able to keep it up and interact with it with much less like anxiety and much less intimidation, because it was just a fucking hoop and I knew what to do with the hoop. And I think it's one of those things that, like later in the drive home, like after everything was said and done, it was fun. I really was grateful that they encouraged me to do it, and I went ahead and went along with it, because it was an interesting experience, and it's an experience that a lot of people don't ever have, right? So if nothing else, it's a fun story, and there's probably like a fun video somewhere with lots of drops. But on the way home, though, is when like my mind freaked out, right? Because now that I'm safe from the fire, now it can freak out about, hey, you were just encircled by flame, and like, holy shit, you were just in a ring of fire. And so I know I can do scary things because I've played in a ring of fire. And as I share this with you, one of the things that I realize, and I think I want to, like, we can all take away from this, is if it's scary, if you can find the part of it that's not scary, or the part of it that you are familiar with and know how to handle, I think you can then begin to move differently and move in a way that removes some of the scary, both because you just don't perceive it as scary, but also you're moving with it more confidently in a way that actually makes it safer. So that's my story of playing in a ring of fire, and I just thought I'd share it because someone had wanted to hear it. So yeah, it was just taking hoop dance lessons, and the instructors were fire performers, and having someone else who really, really, really wanted to do it, and reaching, like having the dedication to show up and practice to reach the skill level that was required for them to know that you could safely handle the hoop while it was on fire.
Thank you for your time and attention. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the show. If someone came to mind while you were listening to this episode, please take a moment to share it with them. If you're interested in joining a community and diving further into these topics, please visit theessenceofexpression.com/community and request to join our community group. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night or day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.